men plus the keeper around the batsman.
There we go. Fleming took the last one. Merv Hughes before him.
That's a hat-trick to Shane Warne, a great moment in his career. What a catch by David Booth. You won't see many better catch than forward short leg than that one. The Aussies are all around, and have a look at that.
Good evening or afternoon, everyone, and welcome to BBL Tragics podcast round 6. Yes, is that right? I'm pretty sure it is. Today on the podcast we've got Timmy, Alan, and Guy. We'll go to you first, Tim, and tell us how you went this round. I know I've been running your team for the last couple of weeks while you've been away in the Sydney to Hobart, but tell us how you went, how the experience was down there.
Yeah, look, the experience was awesome, guys. Thanks very much. Good to be back. Good to be back playing BBL, and good to be back on dry land. They call it terra firma. I think there's more terra, the less firma. So, yeah, it was good fun. While I'm at it, just a really quick thanks to everyone for all the messages. I got lots of listeners and guys in our chat groups and things like that as well that sent out just asking for information and wanted to know how I was doing during the race and things like that, especially once we broke our rudder. Unfortunately, we didn't get to Hobart. We're looking really good at the time, but yeah, that's yachting. So all's well that ends well. We're back safe and dry. Spent about 18 or 20 hours drifting in the middle of the ocean between Australia and New Zealand, and got picked up about 2:30 in the morning and towed back to Tassie. But yeah, all the crew's safe and well, and yeah, all's well that ends well. I think my mum nearly died and my wife nearly died, but just I don't know if they're ever going to let me go back to sea. But yeah, no, all's good. Going back sailing on Wednesday, so get back on the horse straight away. Yeah. As for Supercoach, I think I'd banged out a 6:54 thanks to you, Roscoe. Better than your team.
I think I'll take some of the credit for that because he persuaded me to go tie over Luke Wood. So yeah, so that worked out well in the end.
Thanks, Guy.
All right, Guy, how did you go this week?
I didn't do as good either. I scored about 621. Pushed me up. I think I'm just still out about 1.3k. So been on the rise slowly, but still outside the top 1,000. Yeah, the couple of things that burnt me was obviously bringing in Shadab and selling Hales for him. But that's Supercoach, and probably the other one that hurt was going Meredith instead of Ellis. But yeah, apart from that, can't be too unhappy. I'm still battling out in the West. Not as living a luxury life like Timmy up in his mansion.
It's a nice spot, I'll give it that.
How did you go, Alan?
Pretty bad. I got 556 thanks to Short not doing much and bringing Dooley, who seemed to get found pretty easily. But I did have played Stoinis, so I guess there's a plus there.
Yeah. Where are you ranked at the moment?
5,900.
Okay. Yeah. I think I scored a 554, dropped back about 140 places. Didn't play Stoinis after I had him as my captain last week. Had Josh Brown, which kind of saved my round a bit, and Nisa saved my round a bit, but 3 tradings I did made up for the whole of 38 points after trading out Hales 612. So down to about 2,100. So not a great 2 weeks for me. But anyway, that's Supercoach for you. I hope we bounce back this week. So I guess we'll just have a quick touch on the double coming up next round, because this round there's only single games. So Hurricanes and Sixers have got the double coming up next round. So Tim, you mentioned who are you going to look at bringing in this week from either of those teams?
Yeah, look, a bit of a toss-up at the moment between Clark and Wade. But at this stage for me for trades this week, I'm going Sean Marsh, Jilks and Majib to either of Clark or Wade, and then Brown and Ellis.
Yeah. Okay, what about you, Alan?
I've got 8 already for next round, so I traded Hussein out for Jai Richardson and Majib out for McSweeney, just mostly for cash.
Yeah.
Not
And
sure
you
on the
got-
third one yet.
What about you, Guy? You bringing any stars or sixes in this week?
Yeah, so I've sold, getting rid of Gilks finally. He's going to turn into Clark. Like Timmy, I've already got Philippi for the double in round 8. So I wanted someone for the double in round 9. So I went Clark instead of Wade. And then my other trade was trading Birdo out. I know he's got sixes have a double, whether he plays or not, it's debatable now that Jordan's back. But I already had 5 sixes, so I think 5s, it had to be either him or Vince to go, and Vince has obviously got a bit more cash to get out of him. So went Birdo to Ellis, and yeah, just accept the loss from last week and just hold Meredith there.
Yeah, I'm looking at bringing in Ellis and Wade this week as my 2 trades, but obviously depending on what the weather's up to down there in Hobart, they were, talking about severe weather warnings for Hobart for today. But from what I've been keeping an eye on it, there's not much been around. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there might be okay.
Yeah, well, I was making a third trade, and it was the one I was meant to make last week, but I had to change the plans had to loop in Stoinis' score. So I went down to Connolly to get his score, but Connolly, I think this week will win my third trade and will probably become Hats, just because I wanted 2 Scorchers and 2 stars and 2 strikers for the double after. So yeah, I think Hats is just a cheap option, and I need Hats for his double now that Agar's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, I'll go Ellis and Wade at the moment, depending on what happens with the game, and the other trade I'll decide on later on. Not too sure what I'm going to do with that one yet.
Yeah, and again, you might have to keep Connolly or whoever your loop option is that people brought in. You might have to keep them anyway this week, depending on how your loops go.
Yeah. Well, you probably need to have at least one there as an NPR for your VC loop or your bench loops or whatever you're looking at doing this week.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll just have a quick look at the trade trends for this round at the moment, because there's a couple of I want to speak about, because there's a couple that don't make any sense to me, and I'm interested to see what you guys think about it. So on the sellout list, on number 3 is Daniel Sams. Go to you, Alan. What do you think about this?
Probably not, because he only played bowled 1 over. So the issue is when Thunders are getting spanked, he usually gets the brunt of it. So he's on and off, I guess. So I wouldn't.
Yeah. You agree on that, Timmy? Think he's a hold?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Why?
You're right.
Yeah, definitely. I have Nessa as well, who's in the same boat. Doesn't have any doubles, and possibly could sell. So I'd probably sell him first. So it's definite no from me.
Yeah, I just think that Sams and Matt Short are probably the 2, that you want to have. They should be the number 1 and 2 you have for the single game weeks, especially with both them being all rounders too. I wouldn't be selling either of them. Whether they've got a high BE, I wouldn't look at the break evens. I wouldn't look at the prices of either of them at the moment, especially with Matt Short having a double come up from in round 9 as well. So wouldn't be selling Daniel Sams, that's for sure. Next,
I wish we you had a change of thought fortnight ago when you're offloading him then.
I'm sorry, everyone. I did break him. I bought him back this round for 1 point, so I do apologise for that. Number 4 on the list I want to speak about too is Bo Webster. So I'll get you guys first. He's number 4 on the trade out list. Obviously not bowling, but with a double coming up for me, he's a hold. What do you think?
I think he's a hold. Yeah, with that double, you've brought him in. We brought him in for a reason. So I think you've just got to stick with him till after the double at least.
Yeah. And number 5 on the list is another player with a double coming up is Aaron Hardy. Tim, would you be selling Hardy at the moment?
Yeah, look, I don't know. It's I think it depends on the makeup of his side really, but look, he's not someone that I've been interested in. Early on in the season was someone that I toyed with, but since then, look, I can understand why people would be easing him out.
Yeah, for me,
I actually think he should be on the buy list personally.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know he didn't bowl well last night or whatever it was. It last night, I think it was, wasn't it?
But he's bowled 4 overs, so
Overs. And, you know, they're playing at home this week as well. There's a good chance he'll bowl 4 again. You know, because I'm pretty sure that they won't change their team. I'm sure Bancroft will stay in again for Agar.
Yeah.
And he came in to bat at 6, didn't he? Or was it 7?
He's batting at 6 and bowling 4 overs. So for me, it's a whole. Yeah.
The other one you mentioned, though, Bancroft, he could be a pod. Like with that keeper slot. I was having a look because I've already got Phillippe for the first one, but for that second double, round 9, Bancroft was a sneaky option as well because he'll make a bit of cash over the next few weeks as well. He looked quite good.
Yeah,
he's one that I actually started with and was shattered that he didn't actually play their first game. So I actually started with him and Inglis and Nathan Ty, even though that they didn't. AJ Ty, even though they didn't have the game in round 1. I used them as my loop options, obviously. But yeah, look, it's the form that Bancroft took into this tournament and then to not actually get a game, I was really surprised with this. So if he's in the mix and he's definitely going to play, he's one that I will absolutely be bringing in before their double.
Yeah, the other one on the trade out list, which doesn't make any sense to me at all whatsoever, and that's because he's just been in some really good form. Didn't score well this round that just went, but that's Luke Wood. So, Alan, I wouldn't be selling him. I'd be holding on to him for the double. What would you be doing with him?
I don't actually have him, but I would definitely hold him on because there's not many international players that are playing the whole season. Obviously, him and Clark are, so that's always a good option.
I'd be looking to nearly trade him in soon, not be selling him, to be honest with you.
The only thing is people see the high BE and that he'll lose cash. So they might buy him back or have that theory. But I'm with you. I think, he's definite. I'm looking at buying him over the next couple of weeks, hoping he drops a bit.
What's he priced at currently, Ross?
I just think that they're playing the Renegades who aren't in the best of form at the moment. They've started losing a couple of games. They're not going great.
I think he's about 150 with a high BE.
Yeah.
But he's got the dual as well, which is handy, so you can have him at bat and bowl the 4 overs as well.
Just number 7, Shadab Khan makes sense. I think he leaves after this round. Won't be here for the double. Number 9.
You're better off holding him for the last game.
Not with a high break even. You're going to lose cash out of him. He's got a pretty high BE.
Oh, yeah.
So I just think he's to sell it at 172k before he loses too much cash this round.
Depends who you're selling to, though.
Hey?
It still depends who you're selling to, because the fact that he's going to bat and bowl still this round, I think it's a bit crazy to sell. But
maybe
I'm going him to Wade, so I think that is a no-brainer for me, really, just for the form that Wade's been in. But anyway, each to their own. And then the trade-ins, Josh Brown, number 1, again makes sense, I think. Given his form last night, Matt Wade, number 2, makes sense again. McSweeney, number 3. Marcus Stoinis, number 5. Obviously, with the double coming up, break even at -53. So again, I think you guys agree that he's probably worth bringing in this week,
definitely. If you don't have him,
number 6 on the list makes no sense to me, which is Michael Nisa. I wouldn't be bringing him in this week, that's for sure. Would any of you guys be looking at him with no doubles or anything coming up? I just think there's better options.
Yeah, it's the classic chasing last week's points. I think after seeing his 100, but I personally wouldn't be buying Brown or McSweeney either, or definitely not both. But it's all team dependent on how many people you want for the doubles.
Also, too, we have to take into account the weather. There is a fair bit of rain forecast for Sydney on Wednesday for that game. 70 to 80% chance of rain for the whole period of the game. So there's a good chance that the game might get reduced or not even go ahead at all. And if the game does start and Brown comes out and faces one ball and gets 5 points or whatever, then that score stands. So just be wary of that too. Maybe look at setting up some bench loops or something for that game just in case.
Let's be honest though, like the way he started right off the first delivery last night, even if the game's reduced to 3 overs, like there's a quick fired 50 runs. So the bloke could do anything.
Well, it's at North Sydney Oval, so I might just set my fielders down like playing Test match cricket.
Yeah.
Somewhere there, down the Cahill Freeway, ready for some catching practice.
I think you just get him to stand outside the yard, wouldn't you? Outside the stadium.
I noticed one thing with Brown though. He didn't face any spin.
Yeah.
I don't know how he goes against that.
Well, apparently, I know Dan, who's in our who is in the 360 group, said that he does struggle against spin, and they obviously didn't do their homework on him because they didn't bowl any spin against him really. So
well, they only had Naveed. They only had the one spinner because Sock's injured and they didn't play Todd Murphy.
That's right. Yeah. I think the rest of the ones on the list there make sense. So we'll just quickly go through. So we spoke about obviously the weather. We don't know what's happening with today's game. Looks okay at the moment for this stage. So now we'll just go through.
Hey boys, can I just ask a left field question? We seem to have been asking this question all season. Darcy Short, come on with a double coming up. We know what he can do. He's likely more so than ever now to bowl more overs, I would think. At 88k, I know his average has been rough, but the bloke is a past Supercoach gun. Surely at 88k with a double coming up, if you're looking for an extra player, how far off is he really?
I think maybe when Shadab goes, hopefully he gets more overs. But the fact on the weekend, I think they bowled, he only bowled 1 over and the other all-rounder bowled 3. Still scares me off because when he was killing Supercoach, he was bowling majority 4 overs and opening the batting as well. But he hasn't had form in ages. And he has got the duel, but if it's me, because I'm spending 90k, I'm taking Hats just on a preference choice at the same price.
I don't hate it, but I'll probably wait a week just because he's still got a pretty high break even. I think it's about 80 still.
72.
Oh, there you go. And there's a good chance he may bowl maybe 1 more over this week with Jimmy Neesham gone now.
That's more what I was thinking. Shadab's going and Jimmy Neesham's gone. So surely they're going to start to rely on him. And you would think these are the kinds of games where he starts to bowl 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think he's worth picking up. I just don't know if this is the week to do it. I reckon next week's a good week to get him. But it depends if you want to take that risk, Tim. It's the same with McDermott. We might just touch on him quickly too, coming back from a hamstring injury. He's 135k, but a break even of 122. He might be another one, but I just like NRL and anything else. I'm a bit iffy on going near players who are coming back from hamstring injuries. You one that you guys looking at at all, Alan or Guy, at any stage for the double?
Probably not McDermott. I don't think he's been that good lately, even injury aside.
What about you, Guy?
I like McDermott. I'd like to be a bit of form. But again, if he's dropped down to about 100k, he could be worth a go.
Yeah. Okay.
I think for that extra 25k or whatever it is, I think you'd go Riley Meredith every day of the week. But you'd want to see how McDermott's hamstring pulls up first. We all know with Supercoach and hamstrings. So you don't like to mix the two together.
He might be the turbo of BBL, mate.
Yeah, that's exactly right, mate. We'll be changing the name of our comp next season to the Dermy Hemis Cup.
So who's replacing Neesham and Khan?
So Zach Crawley's coming to replace Shadab, which he's not here yet because he's still over playing in the Test series at the moment against, I think, Pakistan or someone like that. But is it Fareem what's his name for Ream?
Ashraf.
Ashraf.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
Ashraf,
one.
yeah.
He's the one that I would probably jump on over Darcy Short. I think he only cost about 100K.
Yep.
But I just I think he's locked into his overs.
Do you know much about him, Guy? Like, I don't really know a lot about him. Is he a pace bowler? Is he a spin bowler? I don't know a lot.
I'm pretty sure he's a pace bowler.
Yep.
And he'll bat same thing, middle order, kind of like your Whiteley role. But again, he'll be battling with Darcy Short for that last fifth bowler option. But it's tough because they're going to have, that's assuming Paris gets dropped, because they've already got Ellis, Meredith and Dooley who will be there. So it leaves two more bowling options. So if Paris is there, then it leaves only 4 overs between Darcy and...
Yeah, I guess we should speak about Joel Paris just briefly because he hasn't been in the best of form. Like, I rate him really highly, but he hasn't been in form, and there's a good chance he could end up getting dropped, like, out of the team. I mean, just Chris Tremaine couldn't be possibly far away from a start in that team either.
Or Mac Wright.
Yeah, or
He was
Mac
good last season.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't. I know no one's looking at Joel Paris. He's not high on the list, but I wouldn't be going near him.
Have they got Tremaine? Was he the other option?
Tremaine's in the squad, but he hasn't been playing. He hasn't had a game yet.
Yeah, but I just feel the only two that are locked in to their 4 are Meredith and Ellis, because even Dooley, he only got a couple overs the other night because he got tonked around the ground.
Yeah.
So he could get dropped before Paris. You just don't know.
No, I don't know what they're going to do.
They don't have any other spinner.
Spinner though in the team.
Well, Darcy Short, hopefully that would help.
And that's more what
Yeah. Is there anyone? I know the Sixers have got a double coming up, but is there anyone that you'd be possibly looking to move on from the Sixers at the moment? Given, I know Guy, you spoke about Jackson Bird, possibly moving him on, but just be wary of those who are looking to bring in Hayden Kerr this week, because as we've seen, the Sixers coach does have the tendency to be rotating his bowlers at the moment. We saw Abbott get rested. We saw Chris Jordan get rested after one game. So if you are looking to bring in Hayden Kerr just this week, just be aware that he could get rested for this game.
Well, not even that he could get rested. It could be wet as well, that game, like we said. Because the other one that I was going to bring that up for Timmy in his trades, because I know he got rid of him, was Shawnee Abbott, getting him back for their double. Now he's dropped to a nice price. So he's another option, but again, it could be a bit wet during that game.
Yeah. Well, they don't have the double for a while, so I guess you could wait on them anyway.
The Sixers.
The Sixers, like, you don't have to get on him this week, I mean.
Well, no, next round. Sorry, not 2 weeks.
You got a next round,
Yeah. Okay.
Then they have a buy afterwards, so don't buy too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you're going to have, like, if you narrow it down to their best 3, I think it'd be Abbott and Kerr and Philippe for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I've got Philippe, Kerr and Vince at the moment. I think Vince is gone before the double.
No, he's here for the double. That's the other thing too. He's here for the double.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I kept Vince, because I feel as though his job security was a bit better. Whereas with Birdo, even though they've got the double, I had 5 sixes, so I was happy to offload one, and Birdo could get dropped or rested.
Yeah. So just with that, yeah, as I said, Vince is here for the double. You got Faf and Lynn going shortly as well for Perth as well. They leave, I think it's round 8 as well. You got Rashid leaving round 8 as well. Vince said here for the double. We've got a few other players, Majib and Hussain are here till round 8, and then they go. So I think that's it.
When does Lynn go? Does he go at the same time?
Who's that?
Chris Lynn.
Yeah, I think he goes around about then as well. But I don't know if really anyone owns him anyway. So
no.
I've got to say he's been a bit disappointing this BBL too. You know, he was in that T10 comp and killing it over there, and I thought he was going to do really well. And he's been getting a few starts, but hasn't gone on with it.
Well, welcome to being a Brisbane Heat supporter. been watching it for a long time.
Hey, listen, tries to support a side that gets all out for 15 and then gets to 220 odd two rounds later.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, fancy that putting 200 more points on. Well, that's crazy. 200 more runs. That's bonkers.
Who's your boys' pot of the round? Someone a bit out there, a bit crazy.
I don't mind Dwarshuis.
I don't think he's going to get named.
You might get rested.
Yeah, SCG, they'll play 2 spinners. They've got,
Oh, yeah, true.
who is it? Jordan coming back. I think he'll play. So I think
Murphy might come in.
Yeah. Who knows what they're going to do? Who do you like, guys, your pod?
I like Thornton. He keeps looking at me from the strikers there. He's a bit pricey at 180, and that's why I think a lot of people won't go him. So he'll stay a pod at least to the double. But he's just been in some nice form. Can bowl 150 Ks like Richo, and that can get anyone into trouble.
No, I really like that one. I was talking to Glenn about him before. I think, he's certainly someone that I'm trying to target over the next couple of rounds. I may even go early next week, use a boost and try and find a way to squeeze him in.
I think the one that we touched on earlier, Guy Fareem, I think he could be a bit of a pod if you bring him in this round as well, if you're willing to take a risk on an international player who, who hasn't played here before really at all. So depends if you want to take that risk. I mean, I did it with Guptill and it didn't pay off for me, but could be a pod move doing it with Fareem.
Yeah, well, it all depends on your ownership and comparing. But I think Darcy Shaw will be a lot higher owned at that price. So it might be worth the play. But with Timbo, so I think you're definitely better off going Abbott for their double first and then going to Thornton.
What about the forgotten Hurricanes Australian representative, Tim David? His form's been a bit on and off lately.
Yeah, I couldn't go there.
Just bats too low.
Yeah.
Just to
Where's he coming in? He's coming in at 6?
Mm.
And
So
Five
just some
sometimes.
injury news on from the Renegades. It's just come through on Maddo. So he has confirmed a ruptured ACL. So he's out for the rest of the BBL as well.
Okay.
That Marvel ground has a tendency to bring a few injuries out for that ground. It's not the best.
Oh, definitely.
Very sandy and patchy in a lot of parts of that ground. It wasn't a very good looking outfield there yesterday at all in that game. So
They've lost Maddo. They've got Hussain and Majid leaving in a couple of games. Wow.
And I believe that they
I'd imagine.
haven't got any replacement players for them yet either, from what I hear. Because they were supposed to get Livingston, and obviously he didn't come. And obviously Andre's gone already too. So I think they're still working on some.
He may come back though.
Yeah.
Potentially could come back.
Big Dre Russ.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, I know Shadab goes after this round, and he's coming back in about 3 or 4 games or something too. So he's not out for the rest of it. All right. So, all right, we'll just go to BC and C choices for this round. So, Timmy, who are you looking at?
At the moment, I've got VC on Stoinis, and the other game probably the captain is probably going to be weather dependent. Yeah, look, I don't know. Like I could go VC Wade even if I bring him in over Clark. But I think Stoinis for one or the other will be odds on at the moment.
New Allen?
If the weather's fine, Wade. If not, for VC. If not, VC Stoinis, C Jai Richardson. Just stay away from those 2 games that may be rain affected.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I had VC Shadab and C on Sam's, but I feel like changing it up this week. So I've just changed it. I've put the VC now and Richo for the Renegades because I know most people sold him, and at the MCG against that Stars outfit, I think he'll bowl quite well. I think I might just take a punt on him. And then the C, it's either I'm thinking Philippi at North Sydney Oval if the weather's looking okay, or otherwise I might go one of the Perth bowlers at Optus. against your Thunder boys.
They're not my Thunder boys. I'm a Sixers supporter.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about a team that gets bowled out for 15 and then scores 220 the next week. I thought, just assuming it was you.
For me, depending on what happens with this first game, VC is either on Wade or Marty Short, because I think Short's definitely due to bounce back. Depends also maybe on the toss as well, what happens with that as to who I'll go. If not, I don't go one of them. VC will probably go on Stoinis, and the C will go on probably Richo or someone like that for me. So,
we think that the low scores from Sands and Matty Short last game will affect will scare people off, at which point might be a bit of a strategy to go one or the other.
Well, not given the fact that one average is about 50 odd and one average is about 80 odd. I don't think so. I think your players that are right up there in the top 100 or the top 1%, they're going to go the safe options. They're not going to go any. So if you are back where I am or Alan is or Timmy is, in particular, this is probably the week you want to go like a pod captaincy choice just to try and catch up. You stick with the pack that's up there. You're not going to play the catch-up game. So.
And the thing is, Sam's is versing the Perth boys, that bowling attack up at Optus, although he probably should get in early, which might be a good sign. Just depends how long he's last. Same thing as with Short, got to verse Hobart down there in Tassie. So, yeah, it could work out, but I think might be the week to go the pod move.
Yeah, I think most will have the C on Jai Richardson just because at home. I haven't had a look at it yet, as to see what the percentage of captains of who's going on. But I'd imagine Jai Richardson's probably going to be the one that's going to be probably the highest captain this week.
Game on.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, guys, before we finish up?
Not really.
No, just
can't think of anything.
Just a quick thing. Thanks very much to Roscoe and Guy and the rest of the boys for looking after my team while I was away. But, special thanks to Roscoe. He was the main one. So it's a bit hard to change your teams and keep an eye on teams list and stuff when you're bobbing around in the middle of the ocean. But yeah, the boys had it covered for me. So thanks very much, lads.
No.
And it's good to be back.
We're glad to have you back, Timbo. You didn't drift off and get abandoned in New Zealand. But just on Richo, of the dry variety, he does average 73 at Optus through 16 games played there. So might be worth a shout.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back for the next round 7, I believe it is. I think it's on next Thursday. On Thursday, we'll be doing next pod. I think it is when this round finishes on Wednesday. So we're looking at Thursday pod. So until then, good luck, everyone, and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks very much.
So you want to be a champion?
Men plus the keeper around the batsman.
There we go. Fleming took the last one. Merv Hughes before him.
That's a hat-trick to Shane Warne, a great moment in his career. What a catch by David Boot. You won't see many better catches than forward short leg than that one. The Aussies are all around, and have a look at that.